Chosen one, the time is approaching when what once looked safe, familiar, and even comforting will reveal its true nature. The very things people trusted will begin to sour. Systems that seemed unshakable will crumble. Words that once inspired will taste bitter. And the world will be left wondering why the air feels heavier, why the atmosphere itself feels different. Chosen one, you have been sensing this before it even began. You've been feeling the tremors beneath the surface while others still dance on the ground. You are not being paranoid, you are being prepared. Soon, everything not anchored in truth will turn toxic, and the only ones who will stand are those who carry the one thing this shifting world can't corrupt. Before we go any further, watch this message until the very end, because the words you're about to hear are not just information, they're a lifeline. And write your warmest wishes and the number 144 in the comments. This isn't just symbolic. It's a way to align with others who understand the power of spoken and written intention, sending waves of light into a universe that is ready to respond. Your wishes are seeds, and this is a time to plant them with care. Now, chosen one, show your light by liking this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's step into this together. You see, when I say poison, I'm not only talking about the physical. This is a contamination of thought, belief, intention, and spirit. Lies will be marketed as truth. Pleasure will be sold as purpose. Noise will be disguised as wisdom. And the masses will swallow it whole because they are hungry for quick answers. But chosen one, you were never designed to feed from that table. You've been set apart to eat from a different source entirely. That source is pure, unshakable, and immune to the corruption that is coming. And here's the difficult truth. The poison will be subtle at first. It will slip in through entertainment, through casual conversation, through things people laugh at now, but cry over later. It will weave into policies, products, and platforms, wrapping itself in a promise of progress. But underneath, it will rot whatever it touches. Most won't notice until it's too late, because poison rarely announces itself with a foul taste at the first sip. It works quietly, undermining strength and stealing vitality from within. The only thing that can save you in that moment is the ability to discern the unseen. And that's why your preparation season has been so intense. You've been trained to hear the whisper beneath the noise, to feel the shift in the atmosphere before the wind changes. Every delay you've endured, every loss you've suffered, every strange separation that made no sense at the time. It was all sharpening your spirit, so you could detect what others overlook. The people around you may not understand why you decline certain invitations, why you choose solitude over company, why you pause before saying yes to opportunities that seem perfect on the surface. They may think you're being overly cautious or even prideful, but you're not moving from fear, you're moving from foresight. And when the world begins to taste the bitterness of what they've consumed, you'll still have life flowing through you because you didn't drink from every cup placed in front of you. This is why, chosen one, you must guard your intake now. Not just what you eat or drink, but what you watch, what you hear, what you believe. Every message you allow into your mind is a seed that either nourishes or poisons you. Every voice you listen to is either a compass or a trap. The ones who survive the coming contamination are the ones who learn the discipline of saying no to almost everything that doesn't resonate with the truth they carry. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd that consumes whatever it's given. You were meant to stand apart as proof that there is another way, a way that remains pure when everything else is infected. The coming days will reveal the difference between those who seek comfort and those who seek truth. And the truth, though harder to swallow at first, is the only thing that will heal and sustain when the poison takes over. When the shift begins, it won't just happen in one place. It will be global, like a wave that moves through every corner of society. Markets will feel it. Relationships will feel it. Even the air between people will carry a tension that words can't quite explain. You'll see it in their eyes, the sudden doubt, the quiet fear, the way laughter feels forced. People will start searching, grasping for something stable. That's when they'll begin to look toward those who saw it coming. You, chosen one, will be one of those people they turn to, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stood the firmest. They'll remember how you didn't get swept up in the rush of the moment, how you stayed anchored when others were drifting. And when they ask how you knew, you won't just give them an answer, you'll give them the antidote. But here's the thing. The antidote is not a thing. It's not a product or a piece of information. It's a way of being, a purity of spirit that can't be bought or faked. Right now, the world is obsessed with speed. The faster, the better. Quick money, quick success, quick gratification. But when the poison spreads, speed will become the enemy, because speed blinds you to what's really happening. You'll watch as people rush into deals, rush into relationships, rush into solutions, only to realize they ran straight into a trap. You, however, will move slowly and deliberately, not out of hesitation, but out of precision. You've been trained for that. The testing of your patience over the last seasons wasn't random. It was surgical. Every delay you hated, every not yet you fought against, was sharpening your instinct to wait for the right moment instead of any moment. When others jump, you will watch. When others swallow the lie, you will question. And when they fall sick from what they've consumed, you will be the one still standing, still whole, still carrying what they desperately need. But make no mistake, carrying purity in a poisoned world is not easy. It will cost you connections. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you the ease of fitting in. You will be misunderstood. Some will accuse you of thinking you're better than them. Others will try to pull you into their compromises so they don't feel so alone in theirs. That's when you'll have to remember, the calling on your life is not to be understood by everyone, but to be aligned with the one who sees everything. The poison will not always look dark and ugly. In fact, much of it will look beautiful. It will be wrapped in charm, opportunity, and even generosity. But beauty without truth is deception in disguise. This is why you must train your discernment to look past the wrapping and into the core. Ask yourself, does this thing lead me closer to life? Or does it slowly drain it from me? Does it carry peace in my spirit? Or does it agitate me in ways I can't ignore? Your answers will tell you what's safe to touch. And here's something you must prepare for. There will come moments when everyone around you embraces something you know is wrong. They'll celebrate it, promote it, and pressure you to agree. In those moments, the temptation to just nod along will be strong. But that's exactly how poison spreads, through silent agreement. Your silence will be mistaken for approval, and your approval will invite the very thing you were warned against. This is why your voice matters now more than ever. Chosen one, you are not being called to be reckless or confrontational for the sake of it. You are being called to be a standard a living, breathing example of what it means to stay pure in a world gone bitter. And that standard will protect not just you, but those watching from the sidelines, those who are too afraid to take a stand until they see someone else do it first. Your courage could be the thing that helps them recognize the poison before it's too late. When the poison reaches its peak, it won't come with an announcement. It will slip in quietly, almost unnoticed, until suddenly the atmosphere shifts and nothing tastes the same. The things people once trusted will feel unsafe. The voices they followed will start to contradict themselves. Promises will dissolve overnight, and the stability they thought they had will vanish like mist in the morning. This is where your preparation becomes priceless. Because while others scramble for answers, you'll already have been given the insight to move ahead of the chaos. You won't be surprised when certain structures collapse. You've already felt the tremors in your spirit. You won't be shocked when certain leaders fall. You've already seen the cracks in their foundation. And you won't panic when resources dry up, because you've learned how to tap into a source that never runs out. But this preparedness doesn't come by accident. It comes from training your senses to recognize when something is off, even when it's dressed in all the right words and appearances. In the days ahead, you'll need to sharpen this sense like never before. You must become unshakable in your convictions, even when the crowd mocks you for being too cautious or too intense. What they call paranoia is actually discernment, and discernment is the shield that will keep you standing when the poison sweeps through. The dangerous part about poison is that it doesn't always kill instantly. Sometimes it works slowly, quietly weakening your mind, your spirit, and your resolve, until you can't tell truth from lies anymore. That's why some people won't even realize they've been affected until it's too late. And this is exactly why you must stay anchored now, before the wave comes. Understand this: the enemy of your soul doesn't need you to collapse dramatically. He only needs you to dilute slowly. A small compromise here, an ignored warning there, and before you know it, you've drifted far from the place of safety you once stood in. That's why your boundaries must be sacred. Not negotiable, not adjustable, based on convenience or emotions. Sacred. And here's the reality: those boundaries will make some people leave you. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of becoming difficult or too spiritual. Let them go. The people who truly value you will also value what protects you. The ones who want you to bend your standards are the very ones who will be the first to betray you when the poison starts to burn. You must also prepare for a strange season where the world seems upside down, where the people who are spreading the poison appear to be thriving, and those who are refusing it seem to be under pressure. Do not be deceived by appearances. This is a temporary illusion. The poison may feel like power in the short term, but in the long term, it erodes everything it touches. And when the collapse comes, the ones who stood apart will be the ones still standing. This is why you must guard your heart and mind relentlessly. Your strength is not just in knowing what to avoid. It's in building up what is good, pure, and life-giving inside of you. Feed your mind truth every day. Surround yourself with voices that challenge you to rise higher, not sink lower. Protect your space from those who bring confusion or chaos, because confusion is often the first symptom of poison. Chosen one, you have been entrusted with this warning not to make you fearful, but to make you ready. When the day comes, and it will come, you will not be caught off guard. Instead, you will stand like a lighthouse in the middle of the storm, shining a light for others who are desperate to escape the darkness. There will be a moment, and it's closer than most realize, when the poison won't just be in systems or leaders. It will seep into the conversations, the choices, the very atmosphere people breathe. It will show up in entertainment disguised as empowerment, in friendships disguised as support, in opportunities disguised as blessings. And without a sharp, trained spirit, many will welcome the poison thinking it's a gift. This is why you cannot afford to live on autopilot. Every decision must be intentional. Every connection must be discerned. Every opportunity must be weighed against the truth you carry. Because not everything that glitters is from God, and not everything that looks harmless is safe. In that hour, the world will be divided into two groups: those who adapt to the poison and call it normal, and those who resist it no matter the cost. And resisting it will come with a cost. You might lose access to certain circles. You might be labeled difficult or even dangerous. But this is where your identity as a chosen one becomes your anchor. You weren't called to blend in. You were called to preserve the purity of what you've been entrusted with. When the poison starts spreading faster, it will carry something more dangerous than just destruction. It will carry the illusion of reward. Those who accept it will seem to be advancing. They will post their wins, flaunt their gains, and mock those who refuse to play along. But their wins will be hollow, their gains temporary, and their applause fleeting. You will watch as their success turns into bondage, and their freedom turns into dependency on what is killing them. You must not envy them. You must not chase what they have. You must remember that while they're rushing ahead on poisoned ground, you're building on a foundation that cannot be shaken. And when their ground collapses, yours will still stand, stronger, deeper, unshakable. This is also why isolation might become your greatest protection in the days ahead. Not because you are running from the world, but because you are guarding the clarity that the world will try to take from you. Isolation is not punishment, it's preservation. When the noise gets too loud, the quiet will become your weapon. When the poison becomes the norm, your solitude will be your safe house. But understand this: your solitude is not just for your safety, it's for your equipping. The longer you remain set apart, the more wisdom you'll collect, the more strategies you'll receive, and the more prepared you'll be to move when the moment comes. Because when the time is right, you won't just survive the wave of poison. You'll know exactly how to lead others out of it. And that's the deeper truth the enemy doesn't want you to realize. Your resistance isn't just for you. It's for the many who will one day look to you when their eyes finally open. It's for the ones who are trapped, the ones who are blinded, the ones who are desperate for a way out, but don't yet know where to find it. When they come searching, they will find you, standing, unshaken, untainted. So right now, every no you say to compromise, every yes you give to truth, every hour you spend strengthening your spirit, it's all building a fortress that will not just keep you alive, but will become a refuge for others when the poison burns through everything else. The greatest deception about poison is not its bitterness. It's how sweet it tastes at first. That's why the unprepared will fall so quickly. They will taste it and feel an immediate rush of ease, of relief, of belonging. But what they don't realize is that every sip weakens the soul. Every bite dulls the spirit, and every moment they indulge, the harder it becomes to let go. The enemy's plan is not to kill instantly, it's to bind slowly. Slow enough that you don't even notice the chains until you've grown comfortable in them. Slow enough that you think the weight you're carrying is normal. And that's why your awareness is everything right now. Because the only thing more dangerous than poison is the person who refuses to admit they've been drinking it. Chosen one, your spirit has been trained for this hour. That's why your discernment has felt sharper lately, even when you can't explain it. That's why certain things you used to tolerate now feel unbearable. That's why people, places, and patterns that once seemed harmless now give you an uneasy feeling you can't ignore. You're not being paranoid, you're being prepared. There will be pressure to ignore that preparation, to lighten up, to just go along with what everyone else is doing. They will try to make you feel like your boundaries are too extreme, like your standards are too high. But remember this, those who mock your caution are the same ones who will need your rescue when the poison reaches their door. You've been entrusted with an internal alarm system that others don't have. It will not always make sense in the natural. Sometimes it will go off in situations that look perfectly fine on the surface, but that's because poison rarely announces itself. It hides in comfort, in pleasure, in opportunity. And if you're waiting for visible signs, it will already be too late. This is why you must learn to trust that inner voice without hesitation. The days ahead will not give you the luxury of endless debate or overthinking. When the Spirit says move, you move. When He says cut it off, you cut it off. When He says stay, you stay, even if it looks like you're missing out. Because the truth is, you're not missing out on anything except destruction dressed as reward. You're not falling behind. You're being positioned. You're not losing relationships. You're being protected from the ones who would have poisoned your purpose. Every step you take in obedience now is removing invisible toxins from your destiny before they have the chance to take root. But here's the paradox. The very thing that will save you will look like the most costly choice in the moment. Walking away when the offer looks good. Saying no when the crowd is shouting yes. Standing still when everyone is rushing ahead. To the untrained eye, it will seem like you're losing. But to heaven's perspective, it will be the exact move that guarantees your survival and your future influence. Remember, poison doesn't just want to harm you, it wants to rewrite you. It wants to change how you see, how you think, how you believe. And once your vision is clouded, your decisions follow. That's why the real battle isn't for your money, your status, or even your comfort. It's for your clarity. Hold on to that clarity like your life depends on it, because in the days ahead, it will. There will come a moment soon when you feel the weight of this message in your bones. It won't be because you read it here, it will be because you see it unfold with your own eyes. The shift will be so sudden, so undeniable, that even those who laughed at your warnings will grow silent. The sweetness will sour, the smiles will fade, and what was once dressed in gold will show itself for the rust it always was. This is where your preparation will separate you, because while others scramble to figure out what went wrong, you will already have moved into position. You will already be fortified. You will already be holding the only antidote, the thing no counterfeit can replicate. That antidote is not something you can buy. It is not stored in vaults or distributed by the hands of man. It is forged in obedience, sustained in intimacy with the Spirit, and activated by the courage to follow instruction when no one else understands. And here's the hard truth, chosen one. The antidote will require separation. It will require stepping out of places you once enjoyed. It will mean saying no to invitations that would have stroked your ego but strangled your spirit. It will mean walking away from deals that looked like opportunities but were actually spiritual contracts meant to bind you. The poison coming will not simply target your body or your mind, it will aim for your alignment. It wants you just a few degrees off course, so that over time, you end up miles from the path God set before you. It doesn't need to make you fall dramatically. It just needs to get you comfortable in the wrong environment long enough to erode your strength. But you're not going to let that happen. You've already been through too much to lose now. You've survived seasons where the very air felt hostile. You've navigated betrayals, losses, and battles that should have broken you. You've stood in the fire and found out it couldn't consume you. That history is proof that you're ready for what's ahead. Do not underestimate the strength that's been built in you during the silent years. That strength will be your shield when the poison starts spreading. Your endurance will be your testimony. Your clarity will be your currency in a world drowning in confusion. In the days ahead, the world will be looking for someone who saw it coming. Someone who isn't shaken when the atmosphere shifts. And that someone is you. Not because you are perfect, but because you refused to bow to what looked appealing, but carried death in its core. Chosen one, the only thing that will save you and others is your unwavering connection to God's instruction. Stay tuned to His frequency. Guard your heart like a fortress. Move with the wisdom of someone who knows that every decision is a seed, and every seed will demand a harvest. Because when everything around you turns to poison, your obedience will become the cure. There's something you have to understand about the season that's coming. It's not just about you surviving. It's about you becoming a lifeline. When the atmosphere shifts and the poison spreads, people you never thought would need you will begin to seek you out. Not because you're louder, not because you're popular, but because you'll be carrying something they can't find anywhere else. You will become a living well in a land that's gone dry. They'll notice your calm when everyone else is frantic. They'll notice your discernment when others are grasping at anything to fill the void. And the more the chaos rises, the more your presence will feel like clarity. But here's the truth. That kind of stability comes with responsibility. You can't afford to play the same games as the crowd. You can't afford to let bitterness creep in, even when you see people coming to you who once overlooked you, dismissed you, or even betrayed you. The poison doesn't just attack from the outside. Sometimes it tries to plant itself inside you in the form of offense, pride, or resentment. You will have to guard your spirit with the precision of a warrior and the compassion of a healer. That's the paradox of being chosen. You carry the sword and the salve at the same time. You cut away what's dangerous, but you also bind up what's wounded. And the wisdom to know when to do each will come from staying tethered to the one who sent you. There will be moments when you'll be tempted to step back into old patterns, to speak like you used to speak, to react like you used to react, to prove yourself to people who will never see the full truth of you. Resist that urge. The moment you start mirroring the chaos around you, you dilute the antidote you carry. The days ahead will require a pace and posture that looks different. You will move slower in some things, not because you're hesitating, but because you're moving with intentionality. You will speak less, not because you have nothing to say, but because your words will be sharper, targeted, and laced with authority. You will choose your battles with precision, because the real war isn't fought with volume, but with vision. And when others are gasping for what's pure, your presence will not only preserve them, it will point them back to the source. That's the purpose of your preparation, chosen one. You weren't built just to endure the poison. You were built to lead others through it. Your path won't be easy. It won't be celebrated by everyone, but it will be undeniable. And when the poison comes, the ones who mocked your preparation will look to you for the cure. And you will have it, because you stayed connected, you stayed ready, and you never traded purity for popularity. There's something you have to understand about the season that's coming. It's not just about you surviving. It's about you becoming a lifeline. When the atmosphere shifts and the poison spreads, people you never thought would need you will begin to seek you out. Not because you're louder, not because you're popular, but because you'll be carrying something they can't find anywhere else. You will become a living well in a land that's gone dry. They'll notice your calm when everyone else is frantic. They'll notice your discernment when others are grasping at anything to fill the void. And the more the chaos rises, the more your presence will feel like clarity. But here's the truth. That kind of stability comes with responsibility. You can't afford to play the same games as the crowd. You can't afford to let bitterness creep in, even when you see people coming to you who once overlooked you, dismissed you, or even betrayed you. The poison doesn't just attack from the outside. Sometimes it tries to plant itself inside you in the form of offense, pride, or resentment. You will have to guard your spirit with the precision of a warrior and the compassion of a healer. That's the paradox of being chosen. You carry the sword and the salve at the same time. You cut away what's dangerous, but you also bind up what's wounded. And the wisdom to know when to do each will come from staying tethered to the one who sent you. There will be moments when you'll be tempted to step back into old patterns, to speak like you used to speak, to react like you used to react, to prove yourself to people who will never see the full truth of you. Resist that urge. The moment you start mirroring the chaos around you, you dilute the antidote you carry. The days ahead will require a pace and posture that looks different. You will move slower in some things, not because you're hesitating, but because you're moving with intentionality. You will speak less, not because you have nothing to say, but because your words will be sharper, targeted, and laced with authority. You will choose your battles with precision, because the real war isn't fought with volume, but with vision. And when others are gasping for what's pure, your presence will not only preserve them, it will point them back to the source. That's the purpose of your preparation, chosen one. You weren't built just to endure the poison. You were built to lead others through it. Your path won't be easy. It won't be celebrated by everyone. But it will be undeniable. And when the poison comes, the ones who mocked your preparation will look to you for the cure. And you will have it, because you stayed connected, you stayed ready, and you never traded purity for popularity. And when that moment comes, you won't speak with pride or ego. You'll speak with the quiet authority of someone who's been through the fire and walked out untouched, carrying proof that the only this wasn't just a choice. It was your survival. You'll stand there knowing that while others tried to adapt to the poison, you learned how to live above it. And that is what will make your voice impossible to ignore, your light impossible to dim, and your presence impossible to replace.